pizza the old school way. We put the work in that a lot of pizza places don't.
We get a taste of one of the brand new restaurants on campus.
Our goal, our wish, our dream is to make jiu-jitsu like a UNC-wide sport.
UNC's own Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu Club throws down at a tournament in Denver.
It's basically a podcast that is meant to talk to like UNC staff, students, faculty, and alumni.
And listen up, the Bear in Mind podcast brings you a new perspective on our community. Bear News starts now.
Hello and welcome to Bear News. I'm Mia Olivas.
And I'm Alani Castellano. To start things off, we hope you're hungry because Bear News reporter Emily Gutierrez is here to serve you a big slice of information on one of the new restaurants for students to enjoy here on campus.
A slice of Brooklyn in our very own University Center. Welcome, Empire State Pizza. Empire State Pizza is expanding from their location on 8th Ave in Garden City next door to Bullfold. The general manager and owner of Empire State Pizza, Michael Schwartz, says that kitchen work has always been a passion of his.
Kind of a lifelong kitchen worker. Hit 8 years on the 8th Avenue Empire State Pizza. I'm the current general manager there at 8th Avenue as well.
Empire State Pizza's origins date back to 2009.
Back in 2009, kind of took the plunge into opening my own business.
Before Empire State Pizza on 8th, it was a bar.
A few years there, we had pizza at the bar, and the bar didn't seem to be going real well, but the pizza was doing really well.
Sodexo, the food service company on campus, began the search for a local pizza joint last year.
It's kind of a funny story, but they reached out to me, Sodexo did. They were looking for a local pizza place, and I said, you know, how come you picked Empire? You know, I was picturing them saying like, well, we looked at Google and Yelp, and you were the highest rated, or we were really looking for like New York slices like you have, you know, something like that. Do you know what he told me? Is that I was the only one who called him back.
State Pizza has a variety of options for students and staff, sure to satisfy any carnivore or veggie lover.
Pizza the old school way. We put the work in that a lot of pizza places don't. We make our own dough, we shred our own cheese right off the block, and we hand toss every pizza and we cook it right on a stone in the brick oven.
Schwartz and the rest of Empire State Pizza staff say they're excited to be more involved in the UNC community.
For one, we're really excited to be part of the UNC community. Go Bears.
For Bear News, I'm Emily Gutierrez.
Thanks, Emily. And be sure to stay tuned to Bear News for when we introduce you to the last new restaurant in the UC.
There are so many unique clubs here on campus. Last weekend, one club traveled to Denver to partake in a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu tournament. Bear News reporter Emily Gutierrez has more.
Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is a martial art centered around grappling, throwing, and submission holds. The UNC Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu Club traveled to Denver this weekend to compete in a tournament held by the Colorado Jiu-Jitsu Club. President of the Jiu-Jitsu Club, Jorge Rubio, competed in the 170-pound division.
Yeah, I was disappointed with my performance. I typically perform better than I did yesterday. I think since it was my first competition, I think that really got in my way. I was really psyched out.
In Jiu-Jitsu tournament, competitors earn points through achieving specific positions and techniques like takedowns, mounts, and sweeps. The president of the Colorado Jiu-Jitsu Club tells us more.
I'm Stephen Peperaki. I am the president of CJJC. We actually started this just because we wanted people to have an opportunity to do jiu-jitsu at a more fair price, right? So we bring people in at a good rate and we allow them to get excellent rolls in, and that really funnels to a lot of our bigger shows, and those big shows is where we can really highlight some of these awesome athletes. It all starts here, right at our tournaments, man.
For many who practice jiu-jitsu, it's more than just a sport. Even though Rubio didn't get the results he wanted, he still has love for the sport. He shares with us how he began getting involved with jiu-jitsu.
When I started jiu-jitsu, I did it because of a friend. He was trying to overcome his drug addiction. And so me and him, I never was into martial arts, and he got really heavy into drugs. I asked if there was something we could do together that he would prefer over drugs. He talked about jiu-jitsu, so we did that. He eventually stopped, but I continued. What it means to me is like the camaraderie. With him, it was, I don't know, something me and him connected over, and for a short time he was sober. And a lot of it was a credit to jiu-jitsu, but I love the sport just for what it is.
Martial artists say that the sport helps their mental health.
My name is Henry Alviso. I'm one of the instructors here at the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu Club. It's really important for people to feel empowered. I also feel it's good for people to have hobbies, especially something that takes a long time to really develop and establish a skill set into. So I think it's really good for not just physical health, but also mental health. Given me a level of confidence that I didn't have before. It's helped me make a lot of new friends.
I know that people struggle with anxiety, and one of the things to overcome that is to put yourself in stressful situations. Competition definitely is a stressful situation for me, and the more I compete and the more I show up and teach class, the less anxious I become in my life. So if that's something you're dealing with or you're looking for a community, Jiu-Jitsu Club is like the place to go.
UNC Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu clubs still have big plans for the future.
Our goal, our wish, our dream is to make Jiu-Jitsu like a UNC-wide sport. I'd love for us to have UNC gis.
A gi is a uniform for training in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, adapted from the kikogi, which is used in modern Japanese martial arts. Typically composed of a heavy cotton jacket, trousers, and a belt, which communicates rank. For those interested in jiu-jitsu or basic self-defense, the club meets every Sunday at 3 p.m.
I would come to the self-defense classes. We tailor them specifically for people who don't know how to do jiu-jitsu. And we do them, we learn the very basic techniques that work.
I think everybody should give it a try. Sometimes it can be a little uncomfortable doing something like this, but I think it's very important that people step on the mat at least a couple times to really know what it's like to be in a scenario where they're not really comfortable and they're forced to stretch beyond their comfort zone. And it's really fun. It's something that people can get into. They're not going to get hurt. You're not getting punched in the face. You're not getting beat up. You can tap at any time if you're uncomfortable. And it's a very welcoming and friendly community. We just do every Sunday here at the rec center here on the campus. So everybody's welcome, 3 p.m. every single Sunday. Just come give it a try. It's a lot of fun. We're all super friendly. We're here to learn. We're here to have a good time.
Drop in and learn a move or two. For Bear News, I'm Emily Gutierrez.
Thanks, Emily. Stay tuned to Bear News all semester long for more on the wide array of clubs that go on here at UNC.
Craving ribs? A community favorite barbecue restaurant from Denver is opening a new location in northern Colorado. Rolling Smoke Barbecue brings authentic Southern barbecue to its customers since it was only a food truck in 2014. The restaurant gained residency in Stanley Marketplace in Denver in 2017 and is now planning a location at the future Legends Complex in Windsor, which is due for a soft opening this year. According to the Greeley Tribune, founder and owner Terry Walsh is originally from Oklahoma, where his love of cooking started. Rolling Smoke offers meat plates, ribs, collard greens, mac and cheese, and many other classic barbecue dishes. Future Legends Complex Executive Director Casey Katofsky said in a statement to the Greeley Tribune that Rolling Smoke embodies everything that they have been looking for in a partner to open at the new complex. So, if you have a hankering for some down-home Southern-style barbecue, make sure to check out Rolling Smoke when they open later this year.
So many things are happening on campus in Greeley at any point in time that it can be hard to reflect on how those events affect both the campus and the city. Bear News reporter Will Coleman takes a look at a returning podcast that aims to alleviate this issue.
From Call Her Daddy to the Joe Rogan Experience, podcasts have become extremely popular in recent years. Podcasting can be used for a wide range of information and messaging, but the journalism department's very own Isabella Marcus Porter uses the Bear in Mind podcast to put fellow UNC students in touch with their campus and community.
It's basically a podcast that is meant to talk to like UNC staff, students, faculty, and alumni, just about stuff that is happening either at UNC in Greeley or like nationwide.
Though Marcus Porter runs the show now, Bear in Mind was originally created by adjunct instructor Dannon Cox and ran from 2017 to 2020. Though a departure from her previous work as a journalism student, Marcus Porter hopes the podcast will allow listeners a more personal look at the world around them.
I think the goal of the podcast is to like have stories, especially like at UNC, and like have people at UNC have a more conversational story rather than like, you know, just a regular news story, which regular news story is great. But I think one thing that lacks from a lot of news stories is like the humanity in it. And I really like podcasts, and I want this podcast to more be looking at the human aspect and having a conversation with the people who are actually doing things at UNC.
UNC is a campus full of stories, and potential listeners of Bear in Mind can look forward to a range of topics and interviews, from the original host of the podcast to some of the student leaders behind last year's Black is Punk exhibit.
I have heard a lot of students and people say, like, oh, there's nothing happening in Greeley ever, and I think that, like, there are so many people at this campus, at this university, who are doing so many cool things that I don't think people really know about. And I think it's a good opportunity to get people to know more about this, as well as just like what's happening nationwide and talking about topics that they just want to talk about. So I hope listeners are able to like find a connection and be able to like either want to be involved more with stuff in the university and know more about stuff in the university, or learn something new about maybe a topic that they don't know so much about.
For Bear News, I'm Will Coleman.
3, 2.
Thanks, Will. The first episode is available soon and should be available wherever you find your podcasts.
Valentine's Day was this Tuesday, and UNC hosted several events going on to celebrate the holiday. I took the time to go see what all the lovers were up to at a unique twist on bar trivia. On Tuesday, February 14th, from 6 to 8 p.m., students met in room L172 in Michener Library for a fun Palentine's Day pub trivia night. In teams of 3 or 4, students competed in 3 rounds of trivia, including UNC history, pop culture, and Valentine's Day themed questions. Winning teams got their pick of some UNC library swag and gift cards. The event also featured free snacks and drinks. This event was the first of its kind and was introduced as part of the celebration of Michener Library's 50th anniversary.
We really just wanted to show the evolution of the library being a place of like academic support, but also we're evolving to more holistic support. We want to support whole students, and we think things like trivia nights are just fun ways to support that.
The library staff hopes events like these promote feelings of belonging for students.
Our goal here is to make sure that the students feel that the library is welcoming and their space, right? Whether they come to study, to meet friends, to grab a coffee, right? We really want this Michener Library to be a space that they're comfortable in.
The library staff hopes that this pub trivia night is popular enough to become an annual event. This is just one of many events the library has planned this semester.
We're hoping to have another student-focused event later in the semester, possibly around finals. Again, just to show students that we do care about them.
This has been Alani Cassiano with Bear News. UNC holds events similar to this for nearly every holiday, so keep an eye out for more events when St. Patrick's Day rolls around.
After a snowy and windy Wednesday, let's take you over to Sam to see what the weather looks like for Greeley.
Thanks, guys. Well, we got through the snow this last Wednesday, but now Colorado's sitting over a high-pressure ridge system, so temperatures are relatively warmer today. Let me show you today's highs. Right now we can see Durango has a high of 37, Denver has a high of 55, Cheyenne has a high of 49, and Greeley's looking at a high of 45 today. But temperatures currently are looking at right around the same thing. As I said, Durango is 31 currently, Denver is currently 49, Cheyenne is currently 45, and currently Greeley is 44. But looking at Greeley's forecast today, high of 45, so beware some slush on the roads and on your walk to class today. And it's mostly sunny today, but looking into this upcoming week, it's still going to stay relatively warmer. 40s all in the weekend, 49 on Monday, and 51 on Tuesday. But on Wednesday, we're going to have to bring in some more snow, but it'll start to clear out by next weekend. That's weather. We'll head back to the desk.
Ooh, I am not looking forward to that snow on Wednesday. I'm ready for spring. What about you, Mia?
Me too. I need more sun. Greeley Mayor John Gates announced that he will run for a 4th and final term this fall. Gates is a 65-year-old Greeley native and retired police officer. Homelessness and managing growth for Greeley are 2 key agenda items. He was originally elected as mayor in 2017. Gates was previously a member of the Greeley City Council since 2009. He represented Ward 3. Gates considered stepping aside, however, he believes his experience is important to the city.
The High Plains Library District is allegedly in violation of anti-discrimination laws. The allegations are from Brookie Parks, a former librarian who claims she was told to cancel several programs that she ran for LGBTQ teens and youth of color. She claims that she was told to rename her woke book program because the word woke was polarizing. Parks' attorney says the library fired her because she was a poor employee. The findings of the Colorado Rights Action Division says otherwise. The division discovered the district was in violation of the anti-discrimination law, as evidence indicates that High Plains Library District warned and discharged Parks for pretextual and unsubordinated reasons for advocating on behalf of the youth of color and the LGBTQ+ youth. The district did not comment on the litigation but denies Parks' claim. The Civil Rights Division allows the mediation process that could result in the library district meeting the state's requests or continuing on to further legal action.
A mass shooting occurred at Michigan State University Monday night, causing 3 deaths and 5 injuries. Gunman Anthony McRae opened fire in 2 buildings on campus, killing Brian Frazier, Alexandria Verner, and Ariel Diamond Anderson. The university sent out alerts to students, faculty, and staff to shelter in place while the manhunt for McRae lasted for 3 hours. McRae was confronted by police officers off campus before shooting himself. McRae was not affiliated with the university in any way and was described by his father as evil angry. Neighbors also admitted that McRae would frequently fire guns in his backyard. Remember, if you see anything around campus that is suspicious, quickly reach out to the UNC Police Department and report it immediately.
Since the legalization of marijuana sales in Colorado have only gotten higher and higher, that is until recently, Bear News reporter Emma Golub takes a look at why college students may not be taking part in one of their favorite activities.
It has a million names, but we all know it when we hear it, or smell it. Marijuana is the most talked about and accepted psychoactive drug in recent history.
I do know some people who do smoke it, or at least I've smelled it in class before a couple times maybe.
In 2012, Colorado was the first state to legalize recreational marijuana, making it a flagship for other states to follow suit. As of 2023, 21 states have legalized cannabis. While more states are legalizing marijuana, Colorado is seeing its first drop in revenue. In Colorado, the marijuana industry made $1.8 billion last year. While that seems like a lot, that's a 20% decrease from its record-breaking sales in 2021. But with the growing acceptance of legal marijuana, why wouldn't sales increase, or plateau even? There may be a couple explanations for this dip. Neighboring states like Arizona and New Mexico legalizing the drug in 2020 and 2021 have affected the market in Colorado. Also, the pandemic-fueled demand for marijuana has cooled down in the past year, which has led to overgrowth in the industry. But aside from that, are people just losing interest? When it comes to college students, weed has been a part of college culture in the media for decades. Even though it's been legal in the state for over 10 years, students were reluctant to talk with us about the topic. But some students think the increase of dangerous street drugs like fentanyl, the increase of vaping, and overall health post-pandemic has led to a drop in usage among young people.
I think that's part of it, and I also think that part of it might also be that people are really into vaping right now, which seems to be a big thing, so they're like, oh, maybe let's get off of weed.
In recent years, Colorado has been known as the weed state, but with this drop in sales, we might be seeing a change soon. With Bear News, I'm Emma Golub.
Thanks, Emma. Marijuana has become a huge part of Colorado's identity and revenue, so let's hope a decrease in sales won't have any long-term effects.
Thanks for joining us today on Bear News.
Have a good weekend, and we'll see you next time.